Hello.
Hey. Welcome to Drunk Doctor Who Heroes and Villains, episode number 32.
I just made a massive misplay. Maybe. Or is it a trap? We shall see.
Alright, the
Probably
Sea Devils. These are the Sea Devils. Their first appearance was in the Sea Devils.
Thank you for joining us next week.
Yep.
It also falls on the 25th.
Next week is also the 25th.
We're also wearing the same
clothes
as last week's episode.
That's because it's the same week. Alright. Yes.
You're ruining the illusion. You're dating the podcast.
We date the podcast. It's 4/25 of 2022.
You're localizing the podcast.
Alright. We need to mark it temporally in time.
Yeah.
Alright.
Dude. It's like
It's more fun that way.
What do you call that? A time vault when they bury it.
Yeah, time capsule.
Time capsule. You get to scroll through the thumbnails and see your hair and your facial hair change.
To see how skinny or fat you were.
I've just been taking up more and more of the couch over the and go on a diet. So
Me too, you know. Alright.
Yeah, you did this at the beginning of the podcast. You want keto?
Yeah. Those were the days.
And then it came over and whoop.
Alright. The Sea Devils were associated with the Silurians.
Yeah, they were the water, like the aquatic version of the Silurian, subterranean,
and we find out
original Earth dwellers, and
we find out later on they're the warrior caste for the Silurians.
they're the what now? Warrior caste?
Yeah, CASTE.
The branch of the Silurians that are specific. It's like their navy. They have guilds.
We find that out in
So usually
Warriors of the Deep.
The Silurians this whole time have not been warriors?
Well, not as much as they had the warrior caste, the Sea Devils.
Oh.
Right.
Because they're awfully aggressive for being the administrative branch or whatever.
They're aggressive. Alright.
It's like, man, those are quite the villains. It's like, oh, that's just the secretary. You should see the
You should see the bad
you
guy.
should see your Navy SEALs there.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a great movie setup, you know?
Well, we're gonna make a bad movie at
That
some
movie,
point.
yeah.
Right?
We're gonna have
That's
this
a
big
line.
crazy mom going, oh my gosh, these crazy. Oh, no, that's the secretary.
That's just
Alright. Anyway, the Sea Devils only show up in 3 serials so far. You've seen 1. I've seen 2. Haven't seen the 3rd one. They're with the 3rd Doctor, and then the 5th Doctor, and then the 13th Doctor.
I don't have much context going into this episode.
There's not a whole lot of
They
context.
have the third eyeball, right? And they're the cone heads and the
Well, the Silurians have that, and it lights up when they talk. The Sea Devils. Sea Devils. It's obvious it's a mask above the head. They have those long necks that the actors are looking out of, and they got the weird elf ears and stuff.
Did we just find out that those two races are related? The Sea Devils and the Silurians?
It's in the Sea Devils. It is stated that it's probably a seagoing version of the Silurians.
I do think I remember that.
But it's blatantly shown in Warriors from the Deep.
Interesting. Yeah. I still think the Silurians are in the right to try to evict the human squatters on their planet after they come out of the storm cellar. So you have a tornado, right? You go in your storm cellar, you come out, and your house is full of monkeys. What are you going to do? You're going to call animal control, right? Get out of my house.
You are so strange.
I think they're right. I relate to the Silurians. I want to do the same thing. I'll be like, yeah, this is my planet. I was downstairs for a minute. I come back and, oh, you guys are here?
It's our house. My house.
My house, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Property is.
But anyway, the Sea Devils, in the serial, the Sea Devils, they're working with the Master. We just got finished talking about the Master, remember?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one where the Master ends up trying to bring them out of the water. They attack the people on an offshore oil rig thing. and the one where the doctor is using the sonic screwdriver to blow up the landmines.
Yeah.
And the Master's trying to put together that device to control and talk to them, and he keeps showing up as the minister or whatever, the golf buddy of the guy for the military base, so that he can try and get the parts and all that.
I like the part where they show up at the dock and there's that old ship crew guy. They're like, there's like really deadly alien creatures in the water. You want to give us a ride? And he's like, okay.
Sure.
I'm paraphrasing, but basically, like, we need to go out there. We need to go out to the oil rig. And it's like, where all the people are disappearing? Okay.
Yeah, I'll take you out there, you know.
You can rent the boat.
Well, that guy kept doing anything for money.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you want my boat? Yeah, sure. How much money you got? You want my motorcycle? How much money?
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, man. But,
Is that the one with the hovercraft thing? That was a unit episode. I'm thinking of something.
yeah, that was later on. That's Pertwee's final season when he gets the Whomobile,
Yeah.
and they go on the chase with the hoverboat and the helicopter Whomobile and all that stuff.
It goes about 5 miles an hour, so they had to speed up the footage.
Oh my gosh, the chase lasted forever. That's where all the money that entire season went. So they had to make plastic
The
dinosaurs, you know.
Man, those were bad.
Yeah, they couldn't even afford a new bad guy, so they just turned Yates into a bad guy. Oh man,
That's true. They got like the plastic dinosaur out of like the dollar bin in the Toys R Us, and they're like, good enough.
Yeah. All right. What's your favorite cereal with the Sea Devils?
I think it has to be the Sea Devils.
Yeah.
Out of the ones that I've seen.
The one that you've seen.
List of appearances.
There's not that many others. I mean,
what is your favorite? Do you like the Sea Devils more than when did
more
they
than
come back?
Warriors of the Deep?
Warriors of the Deep.
Yeah, I do
What-
like the
what
Sea Devils
Doctor
more
is
than
that?
Warriors of the Deep. Fifth Doctor.
It wasn't very good. Warriors of the Deep wasn't.
No, there's a couple of problems. First of all,
Costumes.
yes, there's a monster in it called the Merca.
The Merca.
Yeah. And
Is it like the Macra?
No. This is.
It was that
MY.
really terrible one with the big claw and it's supposed to pick
Yeah, the
her up?
Macra.
Yeah.
No, but this is the Merca, and it's obviously two guys in a rubber suit.
So the
Like-
Macra and the Merca were just two terrible costumes.
Yes, exactly. Stop naming bad guys with M's. Except the Master. Alright. But the production on that serial was not great.
Is that when like they're losing their budgeting during the Fifth Doctor?
Not quite yet, but they're getting there.
It's just kind of like a filler.
I mean, the story's actually pretty decent, but the execution leaves something to be desired. And we literally just watched it for the main watching group. See how we're on The Awakening, the next one?
Uh-huh.
And that's why it's so fresh in my mind, is because last night we finished up Warriors of the Deep. Yeah.
That's right there. Do you think if Doctor Who was successful enough, it would be like the Star Wars story, where George Lucas kept going back to remaster all the aliens and the explosions?
To be fair,
And they'd just like go in and CGI the Merkra and the Macra.
well, to be fair, they've taken some liberties when they've done the reconstructions. I told you about that with the
With the
Macra.
Macra and actually.
And they have remastered some of the special effects in some of the old serials.
Oh.
Yeah, they actually have done some of that.
Or is that the
Well,
ones
it's
you
really
own,
bad.
or do you have the originals without the?
Well,
effects?
the remastered stuff is mostly for the ones they've had to reconstruct,
Oh, okay.
or animate, but not always. Some of them are normal ones that they've remastered for the DVD, Blu-ray releases.
So it is like Star Wars and then George Lucas.
Some of it was they had to take out music for copyright purposes.
They lost the copyright, or they just never
Well,
had it to begin with?
They rented the capability to put it in the show for TV broadcast.
Oh,
Back then, there was no
right.
such thing as home video.
Oh.
Well, technically there was, but it was such in its infancy.
Mm-hmm.
In the 60s, there were VCRs, but
It was more like-
nobody had them. They were super expensive.
Homemade videos.
Yeah.
Is your only.
But so that wasn't put into any contracts for rebroadcast.
Mm.
So they had to go back and put in different music for
And
some
replace
music.
Coca-Cola with cherry cola.
Stuff like that.
Tastes just like generic cola.
Okay, so anyway, have any questions on the Sea Devils?
Boy.
Well, tonight instead of watching Doctor Who, we watch Zoolander.
Oh yeah,
2.
we didn't talk about our movie night.
Yeah,
Zoolander 2.
This is one of the reasons we're doing the heroes and villains is to, to catch up. We're still on third Doctor, heroes and villains, although we're halfway through the fourth Doctor.
And to catch up on our movie
list, which I don't know if we'll ever catch up on.
It grows faster.
Wait, did you scratch off Zoolander 2?
I need to scratch off Zoolander 2 and then add like 2 movies.
The Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code.
And possibly The Omen.
With the head that turns around.
No, that's The Exorcist.
Oh. Then what was the Omen reference?
Damien, because she named the bear Damien.
Oh, I thought she named it that because she's twisting his head off.
But The Omen does have Patrick Trout and the second Doctor in it.
Oh,
so
yeah. Well, that's worth a watch.
that's a nice link, yeah. So the
it all comes back around
to Doctor Who.
So many degrees to Kevin Bacon.
And there's one other person in The Omen who is also in Doctor Who, which is the archaeologist who gets his head cut off by the pane of glass. He's in...
I have no idea.
He's in an episode with the 11th Doctor.
I have no idea how to spell Da Vinci.
D...
Is it an
Big
I?
D, little A, big V, I-N-C-I.
D-A?
Da
Da Vinci. V-I-N-C-I?
V-I-N-C-I. Da Vinci. Yeah.
Well, there's only one letter off. Da Vinci.
Cold War. That was the episode he was in. Cold War.
You ever listen to Cold War Kids?
Don't know. Okay. Anyway, what do you think of Zoolander 2?
I like
Yeah.
It's even more bizarre and out there than the first one. It was a very solid sequel, which I feel like a lot of sequels are cursed. Like the second movie is always so bad. This one is really good. I think it exceeded the first one. I think I like the second Zoolander more than the first one.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, that I didn't like that at all. where you didn't have eyebrows and he's just real creepy. And
All is all to
all.
all. Yeah, with the whip.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh, Mia Jovovich. The scene with MC Hammer.
Crimes of fashion.
Hammer pants.
Members only jackets.
Yeah. Let's see. And
Hold on to these for buoyancy.
Penelope Cruz was hot in that movie. Let's see. Oh, and Susan Sarandon, Janet from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh yeah.
Touch me. I want to be dirty.
I didn't catch that at all.
He didn't. Oh, and Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson was in it.
Kiefer Sutherland.
He was running after. There's a lot of people.
Sting.
We're gonna sit down and name them all.
Alright, great movie. Have fun. Watch it.
Well, it's a funny movie. I don't know if good is the right word. It's a very funny movie.
And Mugatu.
Jacob.
Oh, it had John Malkovich in it. He was the guy with the members only jacket.
Was he being John Malkovich?
That's a different movie.
Oh.
Which I think is actually on the list.
Is it? Should it be?
Let me think about that one.
Is it about to be? I don't think it is.
Let me think about that one. Alright, okay. I think next week we're gonna do Omega. One of your favorites.
That's my favorite. I've been waiting for that.
He's our single shot guy for the third Doctor.
And we're not going to have anything to talk about. It'll be a 2-minute behind. And I won't go on at all.
Right. Alright, so what's your favorite cereal with Omega in it?
Definitely. The second one he said.
And
doesn't he come back?
And the sun turns.
I think he comes back.
Not yet.
He will.
That would be awesome.
He's
for the
gonna
60th.
come back as Alpha.
No.
Beta?
No.
Every time he comes back, he's just another letter of the Greek alphabet.
Phi. Yeah, Gamma.
You're like, who are you this time?
So yeah, I'm running out of letters.
Theta.
I'm running out of letters.
That's his regenerations. Because there are
Well,
only,
it'd be interesting to go through the,
how many letters are there in the Greek alphabet? It's not many. It's
I don't know,
It's a
16 or something. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
a short alphabet. That wouldn't fit with Time Lords.
They didn't have that many words back then. They didn't need that many letters.
That's true.
Alright, anyway. We'll see you next week for more Drunk Doctor Who, Heroes and Villains, and we will do Omega and the Sontarans.
Sea Devils Part 2, because there's just so much to talk about there.
No, there's not.
Oh, well, never mind.
Never mind.
It is on here, being John Malkovich, except
Cool.
I didn't know how to spell Malkovich.
Cool.
Does anyone know how to... Does he have a library card? Does
Yeah.
he know how to spell his last name?
Yes.
How did Arnold Schwarzenegger ever get a library card?
It's German. Everybody has long names.
You know, they say that's a rule, and then, like, people with long, confusing names always make that joke about how you have to spell your name to get your library card. That's not true, because I didn't... To get my library card, they're like, write your name here, and I wrote my last name twice. I got confused. They're like, write it here, and I wrote it, and they're like, write it there, too. I'm like, what? But they're like, put this one first, and then the last one... It's just... My library card was
It
just...
said Holden.
I said Hensley.
Hensley.
And like 13 years later, I pulled that out of my wallet. I'm like, was I illiterate? And the librarian just looked at it and was like, okay. That's basically how they did my driver's license.
Hensley.
No, I mean, you needed a 70 to pass, and I got a minus 30, so the lady was just like standing there with the clipboard, and she's like, okay.
You barely passed. Here.
Close enough. Yeah, but might as well. There are way worse out there. You can go ahead and have a library card.
Alright, I'm gonna stay inside while you drive away. I'm not gonna...
They looked at my library card and they're like, you need to do some reading.
If you can't read first name, last name, you got a problem. Oh my gosh. What movie did you want to watch next week?
That's a good... Being John Malkovich?
We also have the Terry Gilliam films.
Yeah, we only have 3 left.
3?
3 left. We're almost... Are they sad movies?
Terry Gilliam.
Are they dark? Ah, boy. Let's find something on the list. We did watch back-to-back comedies, so I guess we are due for a darker movie, which sounds right up Terry Gilliam's street. What 3 movies do we have left? What do you want to watch?
Well,
Time Bandits?
We've already seen Time Bandits. The best of the ones he has remaining is probably The Fisher King.
The Fisher King. I guess that's next week.
Well,
Maybe.
That or if you want a movie where you hate the world, I can show you very bad things.
The Fisher King it is. Well, thank you for joining us once again for the 32nd episode of Heroes and Villains.
Oh, 32nd, not 32nd. SECOND. The podcast was longer than 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, it was short, but it wasn't that short.
The 32nd podcast. Have you been drinking?
No, I wish I had, but... Hey,
When are we going to change it to heroines and...
Heroes...
What's
covers
the
both.
feminine version of villains?
Villains?
Heroines and villains.
Wives? I don't know. Alright, see you
On
next
that
week.
note, you're going to get us in trouble on YouTube, Hattie.
Yeah, there you go.
We're going to only be on... What's that other one?
Oh, Rumble.